KyleChrisMMA here, bringing you my latest edition of my video blog. It's Saturday night. No, it's Sunday night. Losing track of things over here. It's going to be Labor Day tomorrow. I was a little under the weather yesterday. But, I'm back at it. This is my third try trying to record this. I actually deleted this video this morning. Had a good one recorded, and then another one yesterday. The sound didn't match up, so we're going to give this one a third go. Okay. Anyway, that being said, what I wanted to talk about today was UFC on Fox, in particular the Velasquez versus Dos Santos fight. But before I get into anything, as always, I wanted to thank the followers. You've all been more than supportive, and much appreciated as always. You're all the best. You embody everything that good MMA fans are. Just proving that the MMA community is phenomenal, above and beyond, just phenomenal and great. Shout out to Couch Fighter as well, the entire staff. You're going to find no better staff or website out there that provides you with MMA news, articles. Truly blessed to work with such a wonderful staff. Sabrina, Karen, Chris, Gary, Michael, the creator. They're just phenomenal people, really. It's just an absolute pleasure to work with them. And just wanted to give you a heads up. My next article coming out is going to be Penn versus Condit, fight preview. I know I took a week off, do light heavyweight contenders, a little change of pace, but this week is going right back to fight preview articles. So keep a heads up. It'll be out Wednesday night, most likely. So just keep your eyes open, and I will post it, and it'll be out. And keep an eye out for everybody else's articles on Couch Fighter. That being said, I just want to roll right into it. UFC on Fox. First, I didn't touch up on it too much. UFC on Fox is absolutely enormous for the sport of MMA. It's going to, some people are divided on this whole MMA on Fox going mainstream, thinking that the sport, it's not possible for it to become such a big sport, to outdo the footballs and the soccers, and MMA still has to come a long way. It's still a long way to come for MMA, and but there's some good things about this. Is that it's going to bring a lot more followers, a lot more viewers to MMA, and it's not only that, but it's gonna help in the end. What I think is going to help is coming from a state that doesn't allow MMA. It's going to open up a lot of people's eyes and make them realize that MMA isn't such a it is a violent sport, but not such a violent, out of control sport like it's made out to be, because it's not. I mean, nobody's died in the cage, and it's a very controlled sport, and it's a safe sport. Compared to football, where people have been dying left and right, it's very sad. But MMA community needs this, and it needs its exposure, and people need to realize what a great sport it truly is. Now, with the fights on Fox, it's going to take away from the pay-per-view cards. We're going to have some free fights, which is going to be phenomenal. But I really think this is a big thing that we're working on here, the MMA community, with the deal on Fox, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds, how it pans out, and I can't wait just to see how this all works out. Hopping into the fight itself of Velasquez and Dos Santos, and just in regards to the picks, like the picking of the fight, there were some rumors about Franklin and Ortiz possibly fighting, and Shogun and Henderson possibly fighting, and Mir and Overeem, and I'm still excited to see Overeem in the UFC. I'm not the biggest fan of Overeem. I'm still not a believer just yet, and I know I'm going to catch flack for this. He's a talented fighter, no doubt about it, but he needs to come to the UFC, have a couple fights under his belt, then we could all start riding the hype wagon as well. I'm sure he's going to do just fine, but I'd like to see him up against the best in the world, no doubt about it. Now, that being said, Dana White comes out and he picks Velasquez and Dos Santos for the first Fox fight, and this makes a lot of sense, because when you're picking fights or with anything, the heavyweight division in the UFC may not be the most talented one. That's a fact. Okay, there's still a lot of good fighters in the division, but you go from the top down with anything. You always go to the top, and the top divisions, the heavyweight divisions, the heaviest weight class. And what I think they're trying to appeal to, not only is it such a good fight, but I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the wow factor. They're trying to get these this new audience, attracting this new audience. And like I said, I'm a teacher and I work with kids, and they're new to MMA, just like me a couple of years ago. But they're new to MMA, and they're I always see them. They're like, "Oh, did you see that fight? It was a vicious knockout. It was the only type of fights I like to watch." I'm like, well, did you watch the Diaz versus Cyborg fight the other night? It was phenomenal. I was on my feet the entire time. They're like, well, how did it finish? Was there a knockout? I'm like, no, there was an armbar submission. It was a great fight. It was a back-and-forth battle, and tides turned, and Diaz came back to win. They're like, well, that's no fun. Well, who wants to watch fights that aren't knockout fights? And I think what they're trying to appeal to is that this crowd that likes the knockouts, these heavy-hitter fights. And this is what this fight's going to be. It is a clash of style fight, but we're going to see, the fists will fly, the pace will be pushed, and that's what I think they're trying to appeal to. Is most heavyweight fights, like I said, is that I tweeted is that close to 60% of heavyweight fights never go to the judges. I believe it's 56% of heavyweight fights don't go to the judges, and that's what you find in the heavyweight division. That's the percentage. So if that's what the crowd they're trying to appeal to, they're trying to get the new followers to. Once they see this fight, they're going to be on board. Wow, did you see that big knockout? Or did you see that? Did you see these two gigantic guys in the cage go to battle? Well, I'm interested. I want to watch more. That's what I think they're trying to appeal to, is this wow factor. Like, what a fight. Like, man, I want to see more. And I think it was a great pick by Dana White and the rest of the staff on the UFC. Getting into the fight itself, I just like to break it down very quickly. Maybe not quickly, but, I'm long-winded. But Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez. This is, stylistically, they don't match up. It's a clash of styles. You have a wrestler, an evolving striker in Cain Velasquez, super strong, undersized wrestler with great technique, dictates the pace, versus the best technical striker in the heavyweight division in Junior Dos Santos, with very, very underrated ground game that we haven't seen, BJJ game that we haven't seen either. Nobody's ever seen it. Now, let's go down the fighters. Cain Velasquez, the heavyweight champion, he's been out of the cage for over a year since he's fought Brock Lesnar, and it's due to injury that he's been nursing. He's been coming back from. I guess he's been having a great training camp. But there's a few things. Cain Velasquez gets a lot of credit for his striking, which he should. He's come a very long way, but he gets a lot more credit than I think he should. He's still evolving as a striker. He's a very dynamic striker training at AKA. But he still has a long way to go. It's very hard to judge a guy striking from his Congo fight where he mostly grappled, and he took some heavy shots, by the way. Congo looked better on his feet. Watch the fight again. The Nog fight that he ended early, I think it's very hard to judge that. It is. He finished it early with some great strikes, and he beat Brock Lesnar on his feet. It's very hard to judge that. Lesnar is nowhere near Cain Velasquez on his feet. Brock Lesnar's nowhere near anybody, and I know Brock Lesnar has a lot of fans. He's a face guy. Me personally, not so much, but it's very hard to judge where Velasquez is at with his striking based on his past couple of fights. His wrestling, though, you cannot question. He dictates the pace. He's super strong. His takedown defense is phenomenal. Not like it matters. He's great off his back. He can submit fighters, and he can truly beat down people and dictate where the fight takes place. So that will be interesting for Cain Velasquez, seeing him go in this fight. Junior Dos Santos. Very quickly, his striking is phenomenal, and for people to question his knockout power these past two fights is, go back and watch the Fabricio Verdum knockout. I mean, seriously, question the guy. He hasn't finished his last two fights. He fought Roy Nelson and Shane Carwin, two guys with phenomenal chins that you literally have to knock over with a wrecking ball to knock out. I'd say 95% of the fighters that took the beating that Dos Santos put on Nelson and Carwin, none of them would have made it at least past the first or second round. No fighters will survive that beating. And hats off to Carwin and Nelson, both talented fighters. It's very hard to judge Dos Santos' power from those last two fights. He fought two very tough guys with two great chins. And, Carwin's face will prove it, is that Carwin's completely beaten up. Nobody survives those beatings. And like I said, hats off to them. Dos Santos' ground game, we don't really know what it's like. He trains in BJJ, and apparently he's really good. His takedown defense is phenomenal. Roy Nelson, an elite grappler, and has nothing to do with his physique or his endurance. He's an elite grappler, hands down. He beat Frank Mir in a grappling contest. That's one of the better grapplers in the heavyweight division. He's very talented. And Dos Santos avoided it at all costs. He used his uppercut that pretty much, not equalized, but cut out all takedown attempts for Nelson after he started getting hit with those heavy uppercuts. And his takedown defense is phenomenal. I think it's going to be a big factor in this Velasquez fight. So a guy whose ground game we haven't seen, I still think it could be an X factor in this fight, is Velasquez's ground game, his striking. I don't think Velasquez really stands a chance on his feet with Dos Santos. Coming down to it, how I think the fight pans out, I think I'm calling Dos Santos for the TKO in the first round. And I know it's a fight on Fox where there's an hour time slot and they're trying to fill and say it could go 5 rounds. I don't think it really matters what the turnout is. If it's a first-round TKO, it's going to be exciting. You're going to get that wow factor from these new fans that they're trying to attract. And if it goes 5 rounds, 3 rounds with an all-out epic battle, it's going to be very entertaining as well. I think no matter what, I don't think Dana White needs to worry about how this fight pans out for the Fox crowd. They're going to put on a show, these fighters, and it's going to be epic. I'm calling first-round TKO. I'm sticking by my article, the first one I wrote. But like I said, it doesn't matter. People are going to be entertained on Fox, and Dos Santos and Velasquez are going to make sure of it. So this is going to attract a lot of followers, a lot of viewers of the sport. And there's 2 things I'd like to say is comparing this one to Ali and Frazier. A little bit of an overstatement. I wouldn't really have done that. Boxing, I know MMA is a big growing sport, but people they know more about Ali and Frazier than they do about Velasquez and Dos Santos. And also for them to come out and say he put all his money, he bet everything on this fight. Just say you picked the fight. It's going to be a great fight. Have confidence in these guys. It's going to be a phenomenal fight. And don't doubt it one bit at all. Don't blink in this fight. It's going to be a show. And Fox is in for a treat. We're in for a treat. And it's going to, ultimately what it comes down to is that people are going to see what a great sport MMA is, and that they're going to see not only that, but what a great community of fans that MMA has. The MMA community is the best, hands down. That's a fact. We embody what every other fan base should be like: passionate, polite, for a great majority of us. And we're true fans, and we're great individuals as well. And we just want to see great things happen for this sport that we all truly love. And really, a hats off and a pat on the back to everybody a part of the MMA community. We deserve this, and we deserve this sport to be taken all the way to the top. I can't wait to see what happens. This is everything I didn't want to talk about. Last, I just like to add Dos Santos' cardio, questionable. Cain Velasquez's cardio, some of the best out there. So, food for thought. Anyway, this is Kyle Delaney signing off. My 3rd attempt at this. Hope you all enjoy. Have a great Labor Day weekend, everybody. I'm out of here.